For months in, years in, until he released these girls and put them back where they belong. My daughter was off in college at the time, and I haven't seen her since.
R.Kelly has had nearly 25 years of success. Outside the studio is another story. He was acquitted on child pornography charges, and recently there have been allegations that the singer has been holding women under his spell, controlling their every move.
And I just want to see her how she used to be. When Joycelyn left to go to college, everything changed after that. Everything.
Artist R.Kelly just released his 13th album, The Buffet.
I met Robert Kelly, R. Kelly, when I was 19, about to be 20. Dang, that was like 8 years ago. I've been gone, like left him like 10 months ago, because I left in November. And it's insane. Like, I look back and I think about when I first met him.
How did I meet R. Kelly? I met R. Kelly in, I believe it was 2013, December, and he was finishing up his album Black Panties. And at the time I was working with Akon and Divine Stevens on a group they had, this rock band that I had recently styled for them. And a very close friend of mine was also working with Cheryl Mack as well as Divine Stevens. And his name was Tyrell. Tyrell reached out to me and put me in contact with Cheryl, which at the time was R. Kelly's personal assistant.
My name is Hallie Calhoun, and I'm R. Kelly's ex-girlfriend. I started dating R. Kelly when I was 20. I met him at a concert, and we didn't talk for like a couple months after that, and then I went and saw him and kind of just hit it off, and then I was with him ever since for a year and a half. But when I first met him, I did not know what I was getting myself into.
It's insane. Like, I look back and I think about when I first met him, Cheryl had actually looked for somebody to come and write for his artist. Cheryl is, I guess, some type of sort of assistant or previous assistant to him.
And she wanted to know if I was available to come out and style R. Kelly for his album cover, as well as his album release. And so she and I set up a time for me to come meet him, and the time was kind of weird to me initially because it was like 12:30 at night. And I was like, wow, this is, you know, I'm like, well, maybe, you know, he's in the studio at this hour, you know, those type of wee hours, kind of really not weird for artists of his caliber, or just an artist period, because they stay in the studio. So when I went out to the location at the time, which was at Divine Stevens at Starland, at his property, and it was an inside gym, and that's where R. Kelly played basketball at. That's like his thing. It's like a ritual of his. He played basketball almost every single day and every single night.
Hey, that's the one y'all send YouTube.
So I go out there, you know, there's other people there, you know, inside the gym. When I get inside, out the ordinary, people watching the game. However, when I walked in, I kind of noticed to the left of me, it was 3 chairs. And it was 3 young ladies sitting in the chair. Nothing really special about them. They had on maybe tracksuits, sweatshirts, hats. Just kind of standing out like a sore thumb, but looking like they were in a disguise. So it was kind of weird, you know. So I kind of really paid no mind. So went on into the game. Maybe the game went on for like an hour, maybe, or an hour and a half. And so after the game, I was told by Cheryl to come upstairs, which was where like studio A and B was, and he was going to change clothes after the game, and he and I were going to meet. So when I went upstairs, it was some other young ladies upstairs, and it was some other producers, and they were kind of like seeming like they were wanting to make a party out of it or whatever. And I really wasn't there for a party. You know, I was there to meet, you know, this A-list client, this Grammy Award winning king of R&B guy. So time went on. I'm sitting there, and I'm getting a bit antsy. And so I look at my watch, and I'm like, wow, it's 1:45 in the morning. So I look to Cheryl, and I go, look, you know, is this meeting going to happen? You know. And so she's like, yeah, you know. And so I noticed there's like maybe 2 or 3 other young ladies waiting as well. So I say to Cheryl, I said, well, is this some type of an audition? Because I wasn't aware that I was auditioning, you know, for this particular job. That's not what I do. And I had already styled quite a few people at this time. In order for me to even be called to style R.Kelly, I had to already have had a roster of other A-list clients or clients that had a household names. So, you know, I looked at myself like I'm beyond this point. So I waited maybe another 20 minutes, and I just said, you know, I got to go. And I said to Cheryl, I said, you know, I'm not sure what's going on, but, you know, it's almost 2:30. You know, I got to get out of here. I just don't think this is for me, you know, because I'm thinking like this is a waste of time. You know, they're trying to drink and party, so I leave. Maybe had gotten, if a mile down the road, and she calls me and she says, Cash, will you please turn around? He's ready to see you now. So I was reluctant, of course, and I'm like, are you sure? You know, is he really ready this time? Turn around, go back in, and come back inside. And as soon as I get in, and probably waited maybe another 10 minutes, and so he comes out and with this big bright smile, and he was like, you know, I'm so sorry, you know, for keeping you waiting. So I was, you know, kind of startled because he was such a gentleman. You know, I didn't expect that. You know, I kind of was thinking like, God, you know, the nerve to have someone waiting this long, you know.
He had, it's weird calling him R.Kelly.
Oh.
But he walked into the studio, and he had like a big camera crew with him, and he was telling me how they were filming his life, and he said, say hi to the camera and tell him what you do. So I was like, I'm V, and I write music. And then he was like, okay, y'all can cut the cameras. And he came and he sat down and he talked to me about writing, about what my aspirations were, where I wanted to go. He asked me to like sing a song, and at the time I had everything memorized. And he said, I'm gonna make sure you write so much music that you stop remembering all your lyrics. And I remember thinking like, nah, but over the course of 7 years, like I definitely started to forget some stuff. But he was just really enchanting. He has a way of making you fall in love with him immediately, even if it's not in a romantic sense. It's like a brother or a friend or whatever. Like he's really easy to relate to, and he starts opening up to you immediately. Like you learn so much about him and his life and his way of writing and just how he is as a person. He's a mama's boy, and where he grew up, and you start feeling like you really know a person and you really don't, which is the scariest part about it. But yeah, it was a whirlwind, because from there, like I spent every single day at the studio for months. Like I didn't go home, I didn't see my family, and it wasn't even like a mandatory thing at that time. It was just that I was so into writing and I was so into work that I was just focused. Like, you know, you give me a CD with 20 tracks on it, I'm gonna give you 20.
When I was dating R.Kelly, there was a lot of difficult times and a lot of things that weren't normal and just really hard to deal with. And it's like once you fall in love with somebody, though, it's hard to get out of that situation, and especially when they hold a lot over your head, like you being with them forever, and then or a long time, and then when you want to leave or you don't feel right being there anymore, it's like you don't want to leave because of the real world and the stuff that you get taken from you and the stuff that you give up. And then when you do want to leave, it's like you have nothing. Some of the rules were like You have to wear sweats when you go out. Can't look at any men. Always text anything like I'm getting in the shower, or I'm getting in the car, I'm out of the car, I'm in this store, or this person tried to talk to me, or something like that. Contact with family was monitored. He would always pay attention to like who you're talking to, what your family members are talking about. If they were negative or saying anything about the media, he would not want you to talk to them. He would want to monitor like what you say. I was not allowed to have social media. I deleted my old Instagram account because something he was very demanding and wanted me to do, just so I didn't have any contact with the outside world and my friends and stuff like that. It's like the treatment would gradually change. Like he would slowly say, you can't do this or that. So you wouldn't really think too much on it. I mean, at the time you would, but it didn't hit you until like you're stuck and you're really like in the middle, and you just like, you like you're in love, you're stuck, you don't want to leave. So the treatment like that, when the treatment did come in full attacked or whatever, you're kind of just stuck there, and it's like not literally stuck there, but it's just like you're mentally and everything like that, you just don't want to leave because you feel like there's nothing else out there for you.